week in that their new locker room was opened up, and it was announced that those lockers, as in when I say those lockers, and there's 120 something of them, or 130 of them if they give every player and walk-on and everybody else a locker, were built at an expense of $10,000 per locker. That wasn't $10,000 on the locker room. That's $10,000 on a locker. Now, those look nice. That looks like a pretty good scene. Now, that's got to be so electronic. Everything's got to be, I mean, you just put your phone in your pants, hang them up, and they should charge your phone for you while you're doing it. They've got everything. They've got little TVs. They've got audio hookups. They're ready. Texas has got that. But I mentioned that spending to really take a look at another story. The University of Alabama, Birmingham, they didn't have a football team for a couple of years. They literally dropped football. And I think from a school standpoint, it was lack of commitment and lack of interest. They didn't want to have a football team. And if you've ever seen or have ever seen the old facilities, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of high schools that would have been embarrassed to be playing in their old facility. Well, that isn't the case right now for the UAB football team and their new coach, Bill Clark. They have built this state-of-the-art, beautiful practice, locker room, offices, everything these football players need at UAB. And you'll see a couple of shots here of the construction as it's obviously still ongoing. I feel good for these young men. There are a lot of great kids that have come back now that were in that program, now that they do have a football team again, and they're giving them the kind of facilities that you have to have if you're going to recruit. If you're going to compete against the teams that they compete with, you've got to have those kind of facilities. And that's usually paid for, by the way, by donors and outside interests. That's usually not paid off your tuition money. So, I think a lot of people get very outraged when they build these kind of facilities, but you shouldn't be, because the majority of this money is donated. And I mentioned that to mention this. And that's my football team, the UCLA Bruins, are going to have a new football facility out in Westwood. The Wasserman Football Center is going to be the name of it. There are some artist renderings and pictures that really don't do it that much justice. There it is, there, adjacent right to the football team. Basically hangs out, overlooks the football field at that level. There's more levels down below it. It's going to have this. This is just the weight room part of it, if you can believe it. But again, these are the kind of things. Donations come in, success is had. Jim Moore has done a pretty good job at UCLA. He's in a situation where he better have a good year this year. But those are the kind of facilities. I'm proud that my old school has built that. And they continue to raise a whole heck of a lot of money.